Picture a continent where nightmares roamed in broad daylight, where titans of flesh and bone eclipsed the sun, and predators with fangs like daggers ruled the land. This was North America, only heartbeats ago in Earth's history. Our modern wilderness, with its grizzlies and mountain lions, is but a faded shadow of the savagery that once dominated this land. Our ancestors survived in a realm where mammoths shook the earth. Birds with wingspans wider than houses blotted out the sky, and saber-toothed killers stalked the forests. The beasts that followed the dinosaurs, our planet's more recent monsters, were equally terrifying. They breathed the same air, drank the same waters, and shaped the very continent we now call home. Let's kick things off with a bear that makes today's grizzlies look like teddy bears. Enter Arctodus, also known as the short-faced bear. Don't let the name fool you. There was nothing small about this beast. Standing at up to 3.6 meters or 12 feet tall when on its hind legs, Arctodus was the largest known terrestrial mammalian carnivore of North America. This giant could weigh up to 1.1 tons or 2,500 pounds. That's heavier than a small car. Its legs were proportionally longer than those of modern bears, suggesting it was built for speed as well as power. Imagine a bear the size of a polar bear, but faster and more agile. But it gets worse. Arctodus had a bite force estimated to be around 4,400 newtons, or 1,000 pounds per square inch. That's strong enough to crush bones like they were potato chips. And with its long limbs, it could likely outrun most prey, including humans if we had been around at the time. While the debate rages on about whether Arctodus was primarily a predator or a scavenger, one thing's for certain: you wouldn't want to be anywhere near it when it was hungry. But as fearsome as Arctodus was, it wasn't the only predator stalking the ancient North American landscape. From the shadows of prehistoric forests emerges a predator that makes our modern big cats look like tame house pets. Enter Smilodon, the saber-toothed cat. This wasn't your average house cat gone wild. Smilodon was a killing machine perfectly adapted for taking down large prey. The most striking feature of this prehistoric feline was, of course, its enormous canine teeth. These sabers could grow up to 28 centimeters, or 11 inches long, protruding well past the lower jaw. Smilodon was about the size of a modern African lion, but much more heavily built. The largest species, Smilodon populator, could weigh up to 400 kilograms or 880 pounds. That's almost twice as heavy as the largest modern lions. Its powerful forelimbs were adapted for grappling with prey, allowing it to wrestle even large animals to the ground. Unlike modern big cats that kill with a suffocating bite to the throat, Smilodon likely used its sabers to deliver a fatal bite to the soft belly of its prey. Once the prey was pinned down by those muscular limbs, Smilodon would sink its teeth deep into the victim's flesh, severing vital arteries and ensuring a quick kill. The thought of facing off against a Smilodon is enough to give anyone nightmares. But believe it or not, there were even larger predators stalking the ancient North American landscape. And this next one didn't just walk on land, it ruled the rivers as well. Meet Deinosuchus, the terrible crocodile. This prehistoric beast makes modern alligators look like mere lizards in comparison. Deinosuchus could grow up to 12 meters or 39 feet long and weigh as much as 10 tons. That's about the size of a school bus. Like modern crocodilians, Deinosuchus was an ambush predator. It would lurk just below the water's surface, waiting for unsuspecting prey to come too close. But unlike its modern relatives, Deinosuchus wasn't limited to fish and small mammals. This monster was large enough to take down full-grown dinosaurs. Its jaws were massive, with some skull specimens measuring over 1.8 meters or 6 feet long. The bite force of Deinosuchus has been estimated at 102,000 newtons or 23,000 pounds per square inch, more than twice that of T-Rex. With a bite like that, it could easily crush bone and turtle shells. Imagine trying to cross a river, only to see ripples in the water and two enormous eyes surfacing, followed by a mouth full of teeth the size of bananas. Dinosaur was the stuff of nightmares, ruling the waterways of North America for millions of years. But not all the terrors of prehistoric North America lurked in the water or stalked on four legs. Some of the most frightening creatures took to the skies, casting ominous shadows over the landscape below. While not as large as some of the other beasts we've discussed, Pterotornis merriami was no less terrifying. This enormous bird, part of a group known as pterotorns, had a wingspan of up to 3.6 meters or 12 feet. That's wider than a king-size bed. Pterotornis was a scavenger and predator, using its massive wings to soar effortlessly on thermal currents while scanning the ground for prey or carrion. Its beak was hooked and powerful, perfect for tearing into flesh. While it probably couldn't carry off large animals like some legends of thunderbirds suggest, it was more than capable of taking down smaller prey. Imagine looking up to see a shadow pass overhead, only to realize it's a bird larger than any you've ever seen. With its keen eyesight and powerful flight, Pterotornis could spot potential meals from miles away and swoop down with deadly precision. But if you think a giant bird is scary, wait until you hear about the terrible pig that once roamed North America. Don't let the pig part fool you. Daedon, also known as Dinosaur or the terrible pig, was no barnyard animal. This enormous entelodont was one of the largest pig-like mammals ever to walk the earth, standing up to 2.1 meters or 7 feet tall at the shoulder and weighing up to 907 kilograms or 2,000 pounds. Daedon had a massive skull, up to 91 centimeters or 3 feet long, with powerful jaws and sharp teeth. Its canines were particularly impressive, resembling those of modern warthogs, but much larger. These weren't just for show. Daedon could use its tusks to deadly effect in combat or while foraging for food. While technically an omnivore, Daedon was likely an aggressive and opportunistic feeder. It probably used its size and powerful jaws to bully other predators away from their kills, as well as to crush bones and extract nutritious marrow. Some paleontologists even suggest that Daedon might have been an active predator, chasing down and killing its own prey. Imagine encountering a pig the size of a buffalo, with a head as big as your torso and teeth that could easily crush bone. Daedon was a force to be reckoned with, a true terror of the ancient North American plains. But not all the nightmarish creatures of prehistoric North America were carnivores. The herbivores could be just as terrifying. When you think of sloths, you probably picture small, slow-moving tree dwellers. Now imagine a sloth the size of an elephant, capable of standing on its hind legs to reach heights of up to 6 meters or 20 feet. That's Megatherium, the giant ground sloth. Weighing up to 4 tons, Megatherium was one of the largest land mammals ever to live. It had massive claws on its front feet, each up to 30 centimeters or 1 foot long. While these were primarily used for digging and grabbing tree branches, they could also serve as formidable weapons if the sloth was threatened. Despite its size, Megatherium was indeed related to modern tree sloths, but unlike its arboreal cousins, this giant was firmly ground-dwelling. It could rear up on its hind legs, using its thick tail for balance to reach high into trees for food. When standing like this, it would have towered over most other animals. Megatherium was primarily a herbivore, but some paleontologists suggest it might have been an opportunistic scavenger as well, using its size to intimidate smaller predators away from their kills. Regardless, the thought of a sloth larger than most modern elephants, capable of standing upright and armed with foot-long claws, is enough to give anyone pause. But if you think a giant sloth is weird, wait until you hear about the animal that combines features of an elephant and a gopher. Meet a member of the extinct family of mammals, known as Gomphotheres. These odd creatures were related to modern elephants, but with some key differences that made them look like something out of a mad scientist's laboratory. Gomphotheres could grow to be about 3 meters or 10 feet, and weighing several tons. But its most striking feature was its tusks. Unlike the curved tusks of modern elephants, some Gomphotheres had 4 tusks, 2 on the upper jaw that curved slightly upwards. and 2 on the lower jaw that were shaped like shovels or spades. These lower tusks were flattened and elongated, and were likely used for digging up roots and tubers. It's as if nature decided to give an elephant a built-in backhoe. The next time you're impressed by an elephant using its trunk as a tool, just think, it could be using its face as a shovel instead. But our tour through prehistoric oddities isn't over yet. From bizarre elephant relatives, we move to a supersized version of a familiar modern animal that would make any lumberjack think twice. Castoroides, or the giant beaver, takes the cute and industrious modern beaver and supersizes it to nightmarish proportions. This rodent on steroids could grow up to 2.4 meters or 8 feet long and weigh up to 100 kilograms or 220 pounds. That's about the size of a black bear. Like its modern cousin, Castoroides had large, sharp incisors. But these weren't just any buck teeth. The incisors of Castoroides could grow up to 15 centimeters or 6 inches long. That's longer than the blade of an average kitchen knife. While Castoroides was likely herbivorous like modern beavers, its size and those enormous teeth would have made it a formidable foe for any predator. Interestingly, despite its size, we don't have any evidence that Castoroides build dams like modern beavers. However, its powerful incisors were likely used to cut down trees and aquatic plants for food. The thought of a beaver large enough to fell mature trees with its teeth is both impressive and terrifying. While oversized rodents posed their own threats, the true terror often came from above, in a form that would make modern birds of prey seem tame by comparison. Titanus, aptly nicknamed the terror bird, was one of the largest carnivorous birds ever to walk the earth. Standing up to 2.5 meters or 8 feet tall and weighing around 150 kilograms or 330 pounds, Titanus was like a modern cassowary's bigger, meaner cousin. Unlike many large flightless birds, Titanus was an active predator. Its beak was huge and hooked, designed for tearing flesh. But the real weapon was its feet. Each foot had 3 toes tipped with sharp, curved talons. The innermost toe sported an especially large sickle-shaped claw that could grow up to 15 centimeters or 6 inches long. Titanus likely hunted by chasing down its prey and delivering powerful kicks, disemboweling victims with its terrible claws. Once the prey was down, that massive beak would come into play, ripping chunks of flesh from the carcass. But not all terrors in prehistoric North America were so obvious. Sometimes, the most dangerous creatures were the ones you might not notice until it was too late. Named after Thomas Jefferson, who first described its fossils, Megalonyx jeffersoni was another type of giant ground sloth that roamed North America. While not as large as its cousin Megatherium, Megalonyx was still an impressive beast, reaching lengths of up to 3 meters or 10 feet, and weighing up to 454 kilograms or 1,000 pounds. What made Megalonyx particularly terrifying was its combination of size, strength, and agility. Unlike the lumbering Megatherium, Megalonyx was built for both power and speed. Its strong forelimbs were equipped with long, curved claws that could be up to 20 centimeters or 8 inches in length. These claws weren't just for show or foraging. Megalonyx could use them as formidable weapons, capable of slashing through flesh and bone with ease. Imagine a bear-sized creature that could both outrun you and eviscerate you with a single swipe. While primarily herbivorous, some paleontologists suggest that Megalonyx might have been an opportunistic omnivore, not above scavenging or even hunting when the opportunity arose. The thought of a half-ton sloth actively hunting prey is enough to give anyone nightmares. No list of prehistoric terrors would be complete without mentioning Megalodon, the largest shark ever to swim the Earth's oceans. While not exclusively North American, Megalodon's range included the coastal waters of prehistoric North America, making it a true native terror. Megalodon makes the great white shark look like a guppy in comparison. Conservative estimates put its length at up to 18 meters or 60 feet, with some researchers suggesting it could have reached lengths of up to 24 meters or 80 feet. That's longer than a school bus. But it wasn't just Megalodon's size that made it terrifying. Its jaws were lined with hundreds of serrated teeth, each up to 18 centimeters or 7 inches long. These teeth were perfectly designed for slicing through flesh and bone, allowing Megalodon to prey on large marine mammals like whales. The bite force of Megalodon has been estimated at up to 178,000 newtons, or 40,000 pounds per square inch. That's strong enough to crush a car. Imagine the damage it could do to a human body. Megalodon's hunting strategy was brutal and efficient. It would attack its prey from below, targeting the fins and tails to immobilize its victim before delivering a fatal bite to the softer midsection. It's clear that the continent was once home to creatures that make our modern wildlife seem tame in comparison. Yet, humans eventually arrived and thrived in this hostile environment. Our ancestors faced challenges we can scarcely imagine, surrounded by beasts that seem to belong more in horror movies than in reality. Their survival and eventual dominance over these terrifying creatures is a testament to human resilience and adaptability. The next time you're worried about encountering a bear or mountain lion on a hiking trip, remember, it could be worse. You could be facing down a short-faced bear, or running from a terror bird, or swimming in waters patrolled by Megalodon. Perhaps we should be grateful that our wildlife encounters these days are a bit less prehistoric. Now, how dangerous were the beasts in prehistoric North America compared to those in prehistoric Asia? Find out in this next video. Thank you for watching.